Happy Friday, happy Friday, happy Friday. Welcome to a new episode of the social media scene. What's on tap for today? We got to talk about Instagram and TikTok doing the most with subscriptions. That's right, new subscription options are coming to you as creators. That means more coin, more coin, more coin. Well, for some of you. But anyway, more on that later. Also today, definitely got to talk about Twitter. What is going on with these Twitter profiles? You know, the funny shake ones? What is that about? I'll tell you what that's about, and it has to do with NFTs. Yep, Twitter delves into NFT marketing, and I'll share with you how. And YouTube makes a major announcement this week about YouTube Originals, and I'll tell you what that's all about. So all of that and more is coming up next. Don't go anywhere. I will be right back. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Friday to everybody. How's everybody doing? I'm going to let the music fade out right naturally. Yes. So, who am I? I am Alice Fuller, Principal Consultant at Sheer Social. Now, what in the world is all of that? Well, Sheer Social is my social media marketing, training, and consulting business. Yes, I do social media management too, but these days, I do mostly training and consulting. Now, I know some of you are thinking, those who teach, those who do can, and those who can't teach. That ain't always the truth. It's really not, but that's a whole nother conversation. What is this? This right here, this is the social media scene. This is where week to week I share with you what is going on in the world of social media. Now, I can't share every blessed thing. Nope. It's too much going on. And some of it is just not relevant. But at any rate, I share with you what's going on in the world of social media, and I try to tailor it to how we use social media day to day. How you use it for business, how you may use it for a little fun. And when I can, I add a little entertainment flavor to it, a little television, a little film. Why? Because in a minute, technically that minute is already here. Traditional media, social media, they're all just going to converge under one umbrella called media, or more accurately said these days, content. It's all just going to be content. So welcome to the social media scene. Now, for those of you that come every week, appreciate you. For those of you watching the replay, I see you. Hey, how you doing? And for those of you that are new, hey, how you doing? Thank you, thank you, thank you for spending some virtual time and space with me today. Now, what I need each of you to do is this. Go ahead, share this stream with your friends and frenemies. Your frenemies too. Slide this right under the nose of those individuals, especially those always talking about social media like they got clients, but not really. No shade, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of misinformation about what's going on in the world of social media. So go ahead and share this stream in those places and spaces where conversations about social media are going on. Now, if you miss the top of the show, as many of you do, let's go ahead and break down what we will be talking about today. So today, definitely got to talk about Instagram and TikTok. This creator economy is booming, and what those two platforms are going to be doing by way of subscriptions. So I'll tell you about that. Also today, definitely got to talk about Twitter. What is going on with Twitter? No, it has nothing to do with Black Twitter this time. No, we're talking about NFTs. I know a lot of us who are old school who like to actually smell, feel, roll around booty butt naked in our money. This whole NFT thing is a whole nother level, and some of us just don't get it. That's okay. We'll get it eventually. But Twitter is already in that space, and I'll share with you today what they are planning to do or are doing to help individuals who are NFT owners or creators. I don't know what semantics I'm supposed to use there. but I'll share with you what Twitter is doing to make sure they help people out who have NFTs to market. Yeah, I think I said that correctly. Also, YouTube. Man, oh man, oh man. YouTube made a major announcement this week, and some of you, it won't impact you at all. Some of you, it just might. At the end of the day, YouTube has decided they're not going to do original shows anymore. Say what now? Yes, no more original shows. And I'll share with you why that decision came to be. And I want to talk about, do you think Facebook will follow suit? Because we know Facebook has a tendency to do what everybody else is doing. And I want to see if you think Facebook will follow suit as far as creating, producing original shows, aka programming. So that's the rundown for this here day. So let's go ahead and get my clapboard together, my virtual clapboard, because no production, not really, starts without a clapboard of some sort. So let's get my virtual one together. There she is. I should have said there it is. I don't know why I made it a she. It's so unnecessary. It's like those M&Ms. That's a whole nother conversation. Never mind. But when we start talking about Instagram and TikTok, for those of you that are actively exploring how to create a business as an influencer, as a creator with a huge following, or even what we call a micro influencer, that kind of thing, then this is big news for you, because Instagram announced this week, hey, we are ready to help you further monetize what you're doing on the platform, which is what Adam Mazzari just said a couple of weeks ago. If you watched last week's show, then you'll know Adam Mazzari said right from his own profile, this was something that they were going to do, start focusing on creators and helping them make a living from what they're doing on the platform. And so this is just purely an extension of that. So with these new subscriptions, real easy peasy, don't have to overthink it. But just like other platforms, if you are a creator, you can now set a price for people to have access to certain content. That's interesting. Indeed it is. Because technically you've got 3 options to choose from. So this may not make you rich immediately. Keep that in mind. But it might help you pay for, a bill or two, pay your cable bill, gas. If you do it well enough, maybe a car note, depending if you got a used car. But whatever you plan to do with this coin is up to you. So for Instagram, you'll now be able to have subscriber lives. In other words, your live streams, you can add a subscription service to that, or option to that. Your stories can be subscribed to. Okay. And of course, you got badges, but the badges things is not necessarily new. I told you about that a couple of months ago. So creators will see subscriber badges next to those people who are commenting and messaging. So as a creator, you can see who is actively supporting you financially, and that's always good. So let's go over here to the gram, because I want you to see an example of what this is going to look like from the creator standpoint, as well as from a user's standpoint. So let me get my screen together. Let's go over here to the gram. Let's go over here. Let's start with Don Allen Stevenson. Let's go over here. Let's go. Here we go. Now, as you see, let me cue this up again for you, because these autoplays get on my nerve. Okay.
Announce the launch of my subscription. This will be a unique space within IG where you can get exclusive access to my chats and talks with key players in the XR industry, along with subscriber-only badges, stories, lives, and more. My subscription is a way for creators to develop your knowledge with expert advice from the digital masters themselves. What's special about my Instagram subscription is that I'm the only XR creator that has access to this right now.
And this is only the beginning.
I'm excited to announce the launch of my subscription. This will be a unique space.
Okay. So that's how he's doing it. Now let's go over here to someone named Bunny Michael. Let's see what she's talking about. Now, as you see here, here's what I want you to notice. Let's go to his profile. Okay. So you don't necessarily see anything up here about subscribers yet. Okay. But on Bunny Michael, see here, she's got subscribers highlighted. And so all that's really going to do is take you here.
I'm really excited because today I'm launching Instagram subscriptions, which is a new feature where you can subscribe and get bonus and exclusive content from me directly on my Instagram page. So what that looks like is that you'll have access to subscriber only lives, which I'm going to do every Friday with Q&As, talking to other creators, doing workshops, getting more in depth in the message of higher self, just hanging out with you. And you're going to get access to subscriber only stories where I'm going to be sharing more of my personal stuff with my subscribers. It works similar to close friends, so you're going to see stories that other people won't see. And you're going to get priority in DMs and in comments. So yeah, this subscriber thing is a new feature and I feel really lucky to get early access to it. I'm doing it for 99 cents a month. So I hope that's doable for you, and I can't wait to see you.
Okay. So 99 cents a month. 99 cents a month. You get enough people, that 99 cent can really make a difference in your bank account. Yay. But here's the thing too. This is only open right now to a handful, and I do mean a handful of creators. But give it a couple of weeks. This will be opened to, of course, to more people, to more subscribers. And I suspect, too, you will probably have to have, on average, maybe 10,000 followers or something of the other, because usually they don't open this up to everybody. They want you to work hard for it so that you can get your follower numbers up and then you can get access to these features. So big ups to Instagram on living up to what they said they were going to do, which was just last week, and giving new, well, not necessarily new, because some of these subscribers, some not subscribers, but some of these influencers are new, but some of them are not so new too. So when you start thinking about what's popping for 2022, this is what we are talking about. Subscriptions, monetization, and creators really delving into how to make money all day, every day on Instagram. Now, TikTok, right after Instagram made its announcement, TikTok followed suit, which is kind of interesting because usually it's Instagram following TikTok's example, not vice versa. So in this particular case, when we start thinking about what's the new thing on TikTok, again, subscription. If you are one of those creators that they are testing this with. Now, TikTok was way more closed-lipped about what they're doing with subscription services than Instagram. So I can't really tell you everything that they're doing because they didn't really tell us much as far as tech press and things of that nature. Not much at all, to be honest. Can't tell you how much money they'll take from it. Instagram says with their subscription service, they're not going to take a cut of your revenue until 2023, early next year. So you got a whole year to build up your coin. You do what you need to do on the platform before they start taking, I don't know what percentage out of the revenue you're going to get from your Instagram subscriptions. TikTok, they made their announcement Thursday about their subscription service. And like I said, they didn't share much information at all, just that they were just testing it. But here's the thing that The Verge, one of my sources, brought up. This is a good point because at some level, especially with Instagram, when you start thinking about the kinds of content that bring people to the platform, if all the best content now is going to be gated, I mean, because technically, the people that you're following, the celebrities, the influencers, and the like, that that really make Instagram the seemingly the place to be. Then, if all of that great content is now gated because the live streams are paid, or a paid subscription. Now the stories can be a paid subscription. I'm surprised they didn't do that with Reels, but they're leveraging Reels right now um, to stay competitive with TikTok. But trust me, they'll fold Reels into this eventually. And then the other thing is, letting creators know um, who their patrons are with the badges. But if the big content like the lives and the stories are now behind a paywall, what does that leave you to watch if you're not willing to pay for the subscription? So the question is, will that lower engagement? Will that somehow or the other impact your activity on the platforms, specifically if the algorithm is feeding you content that you engage with the most, and that content has been free for however long, and now that some of that content that used to be free will probably now be gated, or some of the best content will be behind a paywall, because technically as a content creator you could just create content for your subscriber base. You could. But how would that impact the platform? How would that impact the algorithm? And would that technically kind of negatively impact the experience on Instagram and potentially for TikTok too? That's a good question, and only time will tell. So let's move on to other social media news that hopefully you'll be able to use. So let's go over here to, let's go on over. Oh, I got another Instagram story to tell you, because Instagram is also testing this. For those of you that love having a perfect, aesthetically perfect, all the colors match and things of that nature, your Instagram grid. I remember years ago, when I'd say maybe 5 or so years ago, people were really all about the grid, and your grid has to look so pretty, and your grid has to look this way, your grid has to look that way. People have gotten away from that, in all honesty. But for those of you that still want to do that, you can now, well, you will soon, not now because this is just a test, you will soon be able to move things around in that grid so that you can make it as aesthetically pleasing as you so desire. That might be good, but then too, for those of us who are not even pressed either way about our Instagram grid as far as how it looks broadly, then this will not impact us. But for those of you who are interested, there is a test going on right now that will allow you to move things around so that you can go ahead and edit, per se, how your grid looks. So I'll show you what that's going to look like, because at the end of the day, people spend a lot of energy and a lot of effort on things that don't really matter until somebody tells them it doesn't really matter anymore. So let's look at, and ironically, we're going over to Twitter for this, because we're going over to the person that stumbled upon this, one of these individuals who likes to take apart the platform and go behind the scenes and discover things. So let's go over here to Alessandro Paluzzi. I think that's what his name is. So he says Instagram is working on the ability to edit the profile grid, allowing you to rearrange posts in any order you like. Okay, cool beans. Cool. Let me click on this. So as you can see here, you can move things around. And for those of you that are creating bigger images out of smaller images, this is really going to pop. Especially when you got something that you want to launch and you want somebody's picture to take over your grid and that kind of thing. And now you may not even have to use one of those special apps that would do it for you. You can now just do it on Instagram and not have to download anything extra. That is always good. So if you are indeed looking for this feature, you're going to have to wait. Like I said, this is just, right now, it is literally just a test. But I suspect, I suspect in a couple of maybe 3 to so weeks, this is something that you're going to be able to do. Everybody will be able to take advantage of it. All right, so let's move on to Twitter, because there is Twitter news to talk about today. Now, for those of you who are actively on Twitter, like me, you might have noticed Twitter was all aflutter, all a buzz yesterday, but especially today. And what was the cause of all this new buzz and activity? Well, for the geeks in the house, and technically you don't necessarily have to be a geek to be in NFTs. So, don't get your feelings hurt. And, technically being a geek is a good thing in my opinion, but that's another conversation. So when we start talking about how you want to market your digital artwork, video, whatever you call it, but we're calling it broadly an NFT, Twitter got your back. Matter of fact, it has your profile, because you can now display your NFT, your artwork, or whatever it is, your digital form, because I'm still trying to learn what an NFT is too. But with Twitter NFTs, you will now see, of course, you'll see the profile picture. That's one element of it. But as you're scrolling through your Twitter feed, you may see a profile picture that's a hexagon. Let me show you what this looks like, because I can show you, but I can tell you half the time. So let's go over here to, once again, to Twitter. And then we're going to look at some other stuff, because this is really interesting what Twitter is doing. Because I wonder if Facebook will follow suit. But okay, so let's look at which one do I want to show you first. Okay, so we'll look at this one first. So, of course, Twitter Blue, because in order to get access to this, you first have to pay $3.99 a month. $3.99 a month. That's what Twitter Blue. That's the pricing of this particular offering, for lack of a better word, I guess, by Twitter. Twitter Blue. Now, I told you about Twitter Blue months ago. Months. And technically with Twitter Blue, you pay $3.99 a month and you get a couple of extra features and things of that nature. But nothing that would, in my opinion, that would make me spend $3.99 a month to have. Not even the pseudo edit feature, because it's not really an edit button. It really isn't. But for those of you that want to really delve into marketing your NFTs, this is one way to do it. But first, like I said, you got to pay this $3.99 to gain access to it through Twitter Blue. So let's watch the little video they've made.
Oh
because that music is aggravating to me. Okay, so that's the gist of it. As you saw, people who have NFTs, they can basically put their NFTs or showcase their NFTs in their profile picture. But anybody can do that. Where the hexagon comes into play is if it has already been sold. Because the whole thing about having an NFT or having bought an NFT is, you don't want anybody in the world to have it. You're supposed to be the only one for the most part to have it. That's what makes it so special. That's why people are paying hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars for these things, because you are the only person that's supposed to have ownership of it. I think that's right. So you techie people, you let me know. Hey Phyllis, so what is an NFT? Okay. Now I'm going to go through this slow, okay? Not because you're slow, but because I'm still learning what an what an NFT is my damn self. Okay. So an NFT, it literally means a non-fungible token. Non-fungible token. Fungible. It has nothing to do with fungi or fungi. Nothing to do with algae, none of that. Non-fungible token. So what is a non-fungible token? Basically, as Google explains it, it is a non-interchangeable unit of data stored in blockchain. Okay? Basically, the blockchain is like what they're calling a digital Rolodex, a digital ledger. Now, usually with the NFTs that we see popping up on social media these days, they are digital files that are photos, they are videos, they can even be a tweet. Because the founder of the former CEO of Twitter, his very first tweet became an NFT that I think sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars. It can even be audio. So basically anything that you can create that can be held in a digital form, that's going to be held in a blockchain, a form of a quote unquote digital ledger. That's what Google is calling it. Now, what sets it apart from any other piece of art, outside of the fact that it's not art that you can literally, you know, take someplace and put a frame around it and throw it up on your wall? The token is what they say uniquely identifiable. And it's not necessarily a Bitcoin. They can be bought, I do believe, with Bitcoin, but it is not a Bitcoin. It is not necessarily a currency. Bitcoin is a currency. So that's what an NFT is. I think bare bones. Keep it simple. Keep it 100. Look. I got a piece of digital something here. Art, tweet, photo, an image, something I specifically created. Doesn't matter, but it's in a digital format, and it is stored. It is stored in the great universe of blockchain, and technically it is owned by me, not by a group of people, but by me. And everybody else on the blockchain knows it's owned by me. I think I explained that well enough. Yeah, it's still, it's a bit much for me. I like stuff that's tangible for me, but we're going into a whole new world of things. We're 2022. Technically, when we were kids, especially those of us who are 30 plus, we thought by now we might be in spaceships. So 2022, things are changing, things are evolving, and this is just one way things are definitely evolving. But the other piece to that, where Twitter is concerned, is you can now display what you have. If you've got a collection of NFTs, you can now display them in your Twitter or on your Twitter profile. And the hexagon, when you see a hexagon, and basically, let me go back here. because this is basically the only one I've ever seen is this one. Because most of the people have not sold theirs yet. Let's go back. See here, you see this little piece right here. That's what will let you know that that NFT that they are displaying in the profile picture. Let's click on it. And we got Twitter Blue. Okay. And we've already seen the video. Well, let's look at this too. It says ready to show off your NFT. Sure, why not? Edit your profile, click on the photo, choose NFT, show off your prized possession. You gotta have a wallet of some sort, and done. Okay, they went through that real damn fast. We're gonna go through that again. Okay, hold on. Okay, so you see there, which is pretty basic. At the end of the day, that's how we all change our little photos, our little profile pictures. No biggie there. But now you have the option to choose NFT. That's different. Okay. Then you get this, show off your prized possessions. Let's make this bigger. Show off your prized possessions. Okay. Set your profile picture to an NFT you own by connecting your crypto wallet and verifying your address. Okay, got to verify your address. Oh, okay. Access to Twitter Blue Labs is required, which means you have to pay that $3.99 subscription to connect a wallet, as this feature is still under active development. All right. And then you click connect my wallet. All right, so what's next? Now, as you can see, here is the various wallets that you could, I guess, the Bitcoin wallets or blockchain wallets. That looks like Chase Bank, doesn't it? The old Chase Bank logo. But at any rate, I suspect you have to have one that has partnered with Twitter too. Keep that in mind. It says you will be asked to sign a message from Twitter in your wallet. Okay, that's the fine print there. And then here's your NFT. And then, of course, when you're in your NFT wallet, I guess, you choose what you want. And that's the one they chose. And then people that come to your profile, if they see that hexagon, they can click on it and then they'll get more details about it. So you can see who the creator is, who the owner is, and whatever other information is needed. Now here's the question though. Will this significantly increase subscriptions to Twitter Blue? I don't think it will be a significant subscription. But based on the buzz I saw on Twitter yesterday and this morning, yeah, I think so. But then here's the thing too. There's some people who really are they hate it. The whole idea. They got a whole hashtag going called the NFT profile pic. Let's go back to Twitter. Let me show you this. Okay. So here it is. So you got all these people. People are saying, you know what, in light of the new profile pics, if you have an NFT as a profile picture, it's an immediate block. The NFT community is just making it easier for smaller artists such as myself to have their art stolen, sold, then someone else owns their art. I will not tolerate this. Okay. Yeah, there's some there's some people who are not down with this at all. This is making me sad. If one more bored ape or crypto punk, I'm going to throw my phone in the toilet. Oh well. Say hey to the Taliban man. Um. Okay, here's somebody who's got a totally new one, but once again, got a totally new NFT profile pic. By spending 12 quadrillion Ethereum. I don't even know what that is. Okay, I don't know, but I think that's some form of coin or Bitcoin or something or the other. He says, which is now partially illegal. Okay. Um, Testing out the new NFT picture. Okay, cool. So he's got the little hexagon in his profile. There you go. And so we ought to be able to click on it. I think we can click on it. And so we can see who the creator is. We can see who the owner is. And then we got a description. And then there's a whole collection of these frogs. Interesting. And so then you can go wherever you need to go to find out more. And then you got the properties. Okay. Contract address. Okay. Token. Okay. This is way above my head. Okay. So NFTs are digital items that you own. Proof of ownership is stored on a blockchain. I just explained all of that to you. So that's what this is. If you're scrolling through Twitter and you're like, what the hell is going on with the profile pictures? That's what's going on. It is a displayed NFT that has been purchased. All right. So let's move on to YouTube. These last couple of minutes I got, although I'm wrapping up kind of early today. So for those of us who watch YouTube on a regular basis, so hi Ramsey. Who else is over? Did I miss anybody else? Hi Ramsey, you're watching on YouTube. So I think I answered your question, Phyllis. Cool. All right. So what was your question about? And the purpose is to what was that about, Phyllis? I'll respond to that. But at any rate, YouTube. Let's go into YouTube video universe, because at the end of the day, people, in case you haven't figured it out, YouTube at this point is still a go-to for all types of video. Although technically we usually think of it as more longer form video. Okay, cool. We sometimes we think of it as a destination for gaming too. And sometimes we think of it as a destination for short form video, because to hear YouTube tell it, their YouTube shorts, basically their version of stories, has really taken off. Okay, cool. With all that's going on in video content right now, and with short form video being I guess probably the number one type of video content that's being consumed, YouTube has looked at the data and decided we don't need to do original programming anymore. Huh? Say what now? So YouTube originals gone. No more. No more original programming. Now, how does this impact you? Because you might, well, what do I care about that, Alice? That does not impact how I use YouTube at all. But it could, because if you were watching Cobra Kai when it was first on YouTube, now it's on whatever streaming service. That was a YouTube original. And if they had decided in the middle of production of Cobra Kai, we're not doing any more programming, then technically they might end the show in mid-season like they do in regular television. Like, we're not spending any more money making creating a show and doing all this. No, we gonna cut it. We don't care about whether it has we didn't wrap everything up with a nice little bow for the fans and for them. We don't care none about it. It's all about the bottom line and money. So in this particular case, YouTube is like, look, we see the trend here. We're looking at the data. We know exactly what people are watching on this platform, and it is not originals. It's not. So why should we continue to create original quote unquote programming? I'm talking TV talk now. Original shows when that's not what people come here for at all. So my question for YouTube, not necessarily for YouTube, but my question is for, well, here's a question for YouTube, yes, because if the major budgets that they had set aside for YouTube originals, that means you got a chunk of money, Mr. Robert Kinsel, who actually I've met years ago, who is, I think he's the VP of content or something at YouTube. Nice guy. But he's looking at it from this perspective, the money perspective as well as the data perspective. But that also means that money that was set aside for originals, they can now put toward creators. And I've been telling you for the last year, I especially told you at the end of last year, this creator economy is going to continue to boom to the point where social media is beginning to replace, and I know my old head TV people are going to be like, don't say it, don't you dare say it. But we all know, whether you work in front of the camera, whether you work behind the camera, the reality of it is eyeballs right now are moving more towards smaller screens than they are big screens. Okay, so that said, all the major platforms are going to be spending more and more money or trying to figure out how to help creators monetize what they do. So YouTube says, hey, if we already have a contract with you to do a particular show, we're going to finish out that contract. Anything else we've got as far as YouTube originals that we're in the process of creating right now, we're going to finish that out. But once those things are done, there will be no more. Okay. My question is Facebook Watch. Who is watching Facebook Watch? And I'm not now we watch Red Table Talk, for Jada and all and them. That indeed would be true. But honestly, hi Ann. Good morning from the Black women in artificial intelligence. Hey girl, how you doing? So when we start talking about Facebook Watch, and we know Facebook Watch was pretty much created to compete with YouTube. Now that YouTube is no longer doing originals, will Facebook finally decide, you know what? We can't build Facebook Watch on the shoulders of one Black family, being Red Table Talk. We need to scrap this and just call it something else or do something else with it. But as far as creating originals for Facebook, is that how we really want to spend our money right now, considering we've got all these other things going with the metaverse? We got lawsuits, there's always lawsuits. And then we got these other things creatively that we want to invest in. Is Facebook Watch paying these creators for episodic shows how we really want to continue? I would dare say, give it another year or so, maybe even shorter, we might get that announcement that Facebook has decided to revamp, as they call it, Facebook Watch. I just want you to remember where you heard it first. Just want you to remember where you heard it first. That is the future of things. So who else is over here in the gallery? Okay, so that's the show for today, people. I wish it was more exciting for you, but I'm not much of an entertainer. I can be entertaining, but I'm not much of an entertainer. So that said, if indeed you want to be on the show with me, I'm always open to have a co-host, to have a special guest. If you feel like you want to come on the show and kiki with me a little bit about social media, then please let me know. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Twitter, if you're watching on Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever you are watching, please let me know, and I will set aside a date for you to come on and be on the show avec moi. That's with me, in case y'all was wondering. That's that high school French that I rely heavily on sometimes. If you have a question, if there's a topic you want me to talk about on this show regarding social media, that is, please put that in the comments too. Let me know what you want to talk about, and I'll talk about it within reason. Because there is always something going on in the world of social media, and there's some things that we are not talking about as marketers, because I think in some instances it might hurt the bottom line in what we do. But there's plenty to talk about beyond just what new feature this platform has. There's more there's so much going on in social media that we can talk more about. But you let me know what you want to talk about, and we can talk about it. Okay? So that's a wrap. John Brown, here it is. My pre-production today was a little off because I was talking to some people. So it's a wrap. That's it. That's all. It's Friday. People, please be safe out here in these streets. Please. Pretty please. And I say that selfishly because I do want you to come back and watch or listen to the show as you're multitasking. And I do genuinely care. So please be safe out here in these mean streets of wherever you may be watching the show. And I will see you next week, same time, same place, same social media profiles. And until then, let me do roll call because I had some people come through today. She said, thanks for the insight. Well, you're welcome. I try. I really do. Let's see. Okay, so that's Ann, and so Phyllis and Ramsey. Hi, Ramsey. But Ramsey never says anything that I can put on screen, so I don't know what that's about. So that's all good. So thank you everybody for coming through. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.